Have you ever lost money through investing? According to eToro, roughly 8% of their investors have lost money in the last several months. And here is the catch: those who are losing all this money and terribly failing in this order are smart, fantastic, and pragmatic people. But it's just their decisions and some habits and strategies that kind of rolled them into the rabbit hole. So we need to be aware of these mistakes. And I am telling you, they are very common, but hardly talked about. So let's dive in. Number one, they watch their pennies but blow their dollars. Many millionaires are frugal. By frugal, I mean they penny pinch dry cleaner costs, bank fees, credit card fees, landscaper costs, grooming expenses such as haircuts and manicures, attorneys, and doctor and dentist charges. They will fight like a Tasmanian devil if they think they were overcharged for a grocery item or a restaurant charge. And then these same penny pinchers will go out and buy a boat, Tesla, a diamond ring, or take an absurdly expensive vacation. I have seen far too many wealthy business owners fight to keep wages down at their business, only to spend those hard fought savings on yachts, big homes, or expensive cars. It's as if they have Jekyll and Hyde battling it out inside their very own body. While it's a rich habit to watch your pennies, it's a poor habit when you take those hard earned pennies and make an expensive emotional purchase. So you better be very professional with your pennies, not too extreme and not too magnanimous. Number two, trading on margin. However, the second losing mistake I see many new investors make is trading on margin. If you don't know what a margin is, it indicates you're borrowing money. You are taking out a loan from the brokerage to make an investment. This is becoming very common among seasoned traders. They do as they say. Okay, I have the value of my investments. Plus, you're going to give me a loan for an extra, let's say, $1,000, $5,000, or $100,000 that I can use as a loan. And my goal is to go in with your loan and buy a ton of Tesla shares, for example, with the hope that Tesla will continue to go to the moon. And then what I can do is sell my Tesla shares and give you back your $100,000 as the loan, otherwise known as margin, and I retain the profit since I have margin. I have greater clout. I'm going to make more money. However, the opposite can happen. People become excited, and this is where I see it genuinely happening, as if it were gambling rather than putting your hard earned money into an account and gradually expanding over time. Maybe you can only do $5 a day. Maybe you can only do $5 per month. If you're investing your hard earned money, then stick to your strategy because the only thing you can lose is your money. Assume you invested $100 in the stock market last month. If the stock market falls to zero, you will have lost $100. You lost all of your money. But if you're trading on margin, if it falls to zero, you've lost any cash you put in. You now owe your brokerage more money because you took out the loan, and they will expect their money back. So it's like a double negative. I can't believe how many new investors do this and then assume it's a terrific method to make money. Honestly, this is gambling. Instead of developing a financial strategy, you are simply attempting to profit from the stock market. So, if you're trading on margin, be very careful. It's not pretty, and as the saying goes, when the tide goes out, you can see who's swimming nude. Don't be one of them. Number three, saving money. Savings accounts are the third money losing blunder. This one is funny. Of course, everyone has an emergency fund in their savings account, and I urge that you have something liquid that you can quickly bring out in an emergency. However, if you put all your money into a savings account, you're probably not doing very well. Even if you have one of their savings accounts, which pay around 3 or 4% yearly interest, you're probably still losing money due to inflation. Because inflation has been 4%, 5%, or 7%, if you're only earning 4% interest on your savings account, you're theoretically losing the value of your money because everything now costs more money. In the meantime, your account has not risen at all, which concerns me. Though you may be putting more money in and earning maybe $100 in interest every month or year, an investing account, when done properly with a good financial strategy, may grow considerably faster than a savings account. Number 4, fees. The fourth losing mistake is to pay fees. And I'm not talking about commission fees, I'm talking about the fundamental costs that rip you off. For those of us who invest in ETFs, you need to look at your expense ratio. And all you have to do is go to somewhere like seekingalpha.com or check your brokerage, pull up your favorite ETF that you're investing in, and see what the fee ratio is for that specific fund. The target is anything less than 0.35%. The point is, if you invest in these funds that charge you 1 or 2% every year, you're losing a lot of money in the long run. Think about it. In this case, if you invest $10,000 in an ETF, you will be charged a 1% expense ratio, which equals $100 each year deducted from your gains. Think about it this way. You invest for 5 years. That's $500 that's instantly deducted from your portfolio balance as a result of the costs for simply owning the ETF, let alone the reality that the ETF underperforms. You're doubling down, which stinks. So make sure you're truly focusing on the expense ratio. See, investments don't have to be so complicated. You can go from average to amazing. Another cool option is automate. We're only human after all, and we're bound to miss a payment or overlook a bill at some point. So put safeguards in place that will lower the risk of those inevitable blunders. Set up autopay features to take care of your key bills: mortgage, car payment, insurance, credit cards. Late fees can add up to a fortune. Of course, that also doesn't give you license to simply coast. Rich people read their statements, checking regularly for mistakes. They know that if they catch errors on their bills, they can call their provider and get them fixed ASAP. Number 5, they get too emotional about their investments. The vast majority of the rich folks are long-term investors. They buy, hold, and never panic. In fact, when the economy turns south, they might even double down on their investments, buying more at a discounted price. But I've seen some wealthy individuals who invest aggressively and continue to do so until the economy turns south. Then they panic and begin unloading their investments. These so-called aggressive investors are actually conservative investors in disguise. They are sheep in wolf's clothing, and their wolf disguise comes flying off the moment they start losing money. Number 6, they fail to realize the devil is in the details. Most wealthy individuals become wealthy in one of 3 ways. They live below their means, meaning they save more than they spend. They expand their means or grow their income, or they inherit their money. Some of the individuals who fall into the expand their means or inherit their money categories have something in common. They often do not pay attention to the devil in the details. What I mean is that they don't review their monthly bank transactions, monthly bills, or monthly credit card statements in order to make sure there are no unauthorized transactions or fees. They also don't review transactions such as hotel bills, retail purchases, or restaurant tabs to make sure they were not overcharged and paid the correct amount. They also don't review their expenses at least once a year to see if they can reduce those expenses for the following year. For example, cable and cell phone costs keep going down due to increased competition. If you don't spend any time trying to find the lowest price, it could result in you paying more than you should. Number 7, they're generous to a fault. Too much of anything is bad, and this applies to giving away your money. Once you give away your money, it's gone. Self-made millionaires are pretty responsible when it comes to distributing their wealth to others in need, but those who inherit their money or those to whom the money comes with little effort have a tendency to be irresponsible with their giving. When you don't have to work very hard for your wealth, you simply do not value that money as much as you otherwise would. And there is a tendency to give too much of it away to family, friends, or charities. Once people find out you're rich, they hit you up for money. It can come from every direction and overwhelm you. Those who anticipate this deluge establish a maximum amount of money they're willing to give away every year. Staying wealthy is not as hard as getting wealthy, but it's still hard. Any one of these 7 blunders can act like an anchor dragging you down off your mountain of wealth. Being aware of them is probably the best insurance you can have to preserve your wealth. That wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay notified about our uploads. I'll see you next time.